George, we're also speaking ahead of the great big Jackson Hole reunion here. What do you think will be at the top of the agenda here for the Fed?
Brainwashing us to try to get us to do what they want us to do, and that's go further out the risk curve and buy stocks. That's what this is always about. The Fed really, at the end of the day, doesn't have too much control. They like to assume or like to think that they do. They like us to believe that they have control over the dollar, as an example, but they really don't. And so what they do have control over is expectation policy and market psychology. So I think they gather as a group and decide what their narrative needs to be in order to get the market to do their bidding for them, whatever they want to achieve. And so that's what you're going to hear. You're just going to hear more narrative. I was listening to my good buddies, Jeff Snyder and Emil Kalinowski, and I would have to defer to them because Jeff is the repo expert in reality. But they came up with a very good saying that the Fed doesn't supply money. The Fed supplies narrative. And that's what people have to get their mind around, because the only thing that the Fed can really do is create bank reserves. And although those bank reserves are denominated in dollars, they're not really the dollars that circulate in the real economy. Now, they can be if they're monetizing the government's deficit spending, but usually those dollars that circulate in the real economy, and the way I look at it is the dollars that are on the balance sheet of non-bank entities like you and I. Those are created by the commercial banking system. The Fed doesn't control that money, quote unquote, right? Again, what the Fed controls is narrative. And once people get their mind around that, they see that the emperor is really wearing no clothes. And the market hasn't gotten to that point where they realize that they're being played. At some point, I think they will. Maybe that point was back in March of 2020, when I believe we went from a Fed put to a government put, meaning the market was reliant on quantitative easing, but now they're more so reliant on government deficit spending. That could be a different direction. But again, the main point is they're going to focus on whatever narrative that they want the market to digest.